All right, let's talk about one of the most important certifications out there if you're trying to get into business analysis, the BCS Foundation Certificate. We're going to break down exactly what it is and what it means for you. It's the big question, right? How do you actually become a business analyst? Well, this certification is a pretty fantastic answer. So think of this as your roadmap. We're going to walk through what the certificate covers and how it gets you to your destination. Every journey has to start somewhere. And for a business analyst or a BA, that first step isn't about tools or software. It's about mindset. It's about learning how to think. So you might be asking, is this for me? Well, if you're an aspiring BA, a junior analyst, maybe a project manager or a change manager, basically, if your job touches on making a business run better, then yes, this is absolutely your starting point. Now, these points you see here, they're not just a to-do list, they are the fundamental BA mindset. This is your compass. It's about digging past the obvious symptoms to find the real root cause. It's about thinking bigger than just another IT fix. You're not there to push one solution, you're there to present options. And you're a negotiator, a guide, involved from the very start of a project all the way to the end. So, to be a really effective BA, you need skills in 3 key areas. It's what people call being a T-shaped professional. The top bar of the T is your broad stuff. Great communication, solid business knowledge. But the vertical part of the T, that's your deep, specialized expertise in the actual professional techniques, the modeling, the analysis, the nitty-gritty. Okay, so you've got the mindset down. Now let's start filling up your toolkit. We're going to look at the core frameworks that a BA uses to understand what's really going on with a business, both inside and out. First up is PESTLE. Think of this as your telescope for looking at the world outside the company walls. What's going on politically, economically, any new tech that could shake things up. A BA has to understand these huge external forces to see the big picture. Next, we trade that telescope for a microscope. That's VMOST. This is all about looking at the company's internal strategy. What's the ultimate vision? What's the mission to get there? This framework lets you map a company's goals from the 30,000-foot view all the way down to the daily tactics. And this is where it all comes together. SWOT analysis is how you synthesize everything. You take your external findings from PESTLE, the opportunities and threats, and you combine them with your internal insights from VMOST, the strengths and weaknesses. And just like that, you've got a complete strategic snapshot. But here's the thing. Strategy isn't just about data and charts. It's about people. A massive, and I mean massive, part of your job is figuring out who the key players are, the stakeholders. And how do you manage all these different people with different priorities? You use this simple but incredibly powerful tool, the Power/Interest Grid. It tells you exactly where to focus your energy. That project sponsor with high power and high interest, you need to manage them constantly. The person with low power and low interest, you can pretty much just monitor them. This is what strategic communication looks like in the real world. Okay, so you've analyzed the business strategy, you know who the stakeholders are. What's next? Now you actually help build the solution. This is the part of the journey where all that analysis turns into something real. In the world of getting projects done, there are really 2 main roads. You've got the traditional waterfall method. Very linear, very rigid, everything defined from day one. And then you've got agile. It's all about short cycles, being flexible, and adapting to change. As a modern BA, you have to be fluent in both languages. But you know what? It doesn't matter which road you take. Every single project needs a reason to exist. That reason is the business case. It's the document that answers the most fundamental question of all. Why are we even doing this? It justifies the entire effort. All right, let's talk about the final challenge, the exam itself. I know, it can sound a little intimidating, but when you actually break it down by the numbers, it's a lot more manageable than you might think. So first, what's the format? You're looking at 40 multiple choice questions. That's it. No essays, no long, drawn-out answers. It's designed to test your knowledge across the whole syllabus. So it's all about focused recall and understanding those core concepts. And you'll have exactly 1 hour, 60 minutes to answer those 40 questions. That gives you about 1.5 minutes for each one. So time management is definitely key. It's enough time to think, but not enough time to second-guess everything. You have to go in prepared and confident. And here's your target, 65%. You need to get 26 out of 40 questions right to pass. Now, you absolutely have to study for that, but it's a very clear, achievable goal. It tells you that you need to be proficient, but you don't have to be perfect. So, how do you get ready? Well, the syllabus points you to one single, essential book, Business Analysis 4th edition. This isn't just a friendly recommendation. This is your guide. It's the source of truth for everything that's going to be on that exam. So focus your studies right here. So after you pass the test, what's the payoff? This is where all that hard work really matters. It's about unlocking real career potential and giving yourself a clear path forward. To pass that test, you've got to be strategic. This chart is basically your study guide. It shows you the exam weighting. You can see right away that investigating the business situation and improving business processes are the heaviest hitters. Focus your time there, and you'll get the biggest bang for your buck. And this is why it all matters. This certification is not just a piece of paper. It is a direct stepping stone into real-world jobs, like business analyst, change manager, or even a proxy product owner in an agile team. It opens some very real doors. So there you go. We've covered the mindset, the toolkit, the delivery process, and even the final exam. You officially have the map to becoming a certified business analyst. So the only question left is, are you ready to start the journey?